Oh, this top three humans ever walked planet Earth.
So hi,
Hi.
we were wanting to learn more about Euler and his life. So we're just gonna ask you a couple of questions to find out about him.
Okay.
So let's start with his beginnings. Where was he born and when was he born?
So Euler was born in Basel, Switzerland, in on April 7th, 1707.
Okay. And when did he die? When did his life end?
He died on surprisingly in a different place where he was actually a professor in St. Petersburg, Russia, on September 18th, 1783.
And um, Euler was a very famous mathematician, I assume.
Yes.
So what was his education like?
His education.
How did he learn his material?
Well, surprisingly, he was actually destined to be a clergyman. However, they found out that he actually had a natural tendency for math, and so they allowed him to be a mathematician. He then later got a master's degree only as a teenager, and finally became a professor in physics at St. Petersburg Academy.
That's very interesting. But what was his other life like apart from his
Yeah.
mathematics?
So his personal life, he actually met a beautiful wife named Katharina Gassel, and he had multiple children with her. Only a few, five of them actually lived. He then later lost his eyesight due to excessive cartography, and when he got an operation done to fix this, he didn't allow it to actually recuperate, and thus totally lost his vision later on. And finally, he died of a brain hemorrhage in on September in 1783.
Mr. Euler, what is the mathematical notation that you invented?
I popularized the f of x function. I came up with the e for the base of the natural log, the Greek sigma for summations. I popularized I for imaginary units, pi for the use of pi, obviously the Greek letter. I didn't invent it, but I definitely did popularize it. So really, a lot of my contributions have to deal with the language of math and kind of the notation around it.
What are some of your other mathematical accomplishments?
Well, I created the Euler-Bernoulli equation along with my good friend Bernoulli, which became the cornerstone of engineering. I also pretty much invented differential equations, so you could say that I've done quite a lot in the field of math.
What are some advancements that you have made in the analysis of an infinitesimal values?
So I was the first person to come up with the Taylor series expansion for inverse tangent as well as for E. So those are some pretty big ones. I also have the most beautiful formula ever created, e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0. I'm sure most people could agree that that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I've done quite a bit.
What would the field of mathematics be without you?
Well, another famous mathematician, Laplace, said, read Euler, he is the master of us all. I'd say that's pretty flattering, to be honest, but really he's right. Without me, mathematics would be pretty screwed.
Ishan, how did Euler use imagination during his career?
Well, uh, in his Euler's identity, no mathematician believed that you can have a relationship between the five most important numbers, e, I, pi, 1, and 0. But Euler seems to have done it with his Euler's identity. He also lost his full eyesight in 1766, but continued to write mathematical papers every week until 1775. This showed that he used imagination because he had to imagine his proofs rather than write them out physically.
Now we're going to talk to Rohan about intuition in mathematics.
One of the biggest aspects of Euler's work was the Kosenberg bridge problem in relation to intuition. This was because he had to use intuition to solve the problem rather than reason or any other method. Because while reasoning would work to get from one bridge to another, intuition was the way Euler had to go in order for him to be able to think of the ideas and figure out finally that there's no true way to solve the problem. The Kosenberg bridge problem was influenced by a lot of aspects of his own intuition and the way he needed to solve the problem rather than the way he would have originally proceeded. In addition, it was a different type of mathematics which caused him to need to use the intuition in order to solve it rather than doing a simple mathematical proof or something like that. Because of this, it changed his mathematics works greatly because the Kosenberg bridge problem showed a notable problem and the world a notable problem that could not be solved properly.